The first message arrived wrapped in gold. It cut through Earth's deep space listening net like a blade through silk, every protocol announcing priority, supremacy, inevitability. The transmission did not bother with encryption. It did not bother with courtesy. It arrived as a declaration, not a conversation. By decree of the Aurelian Star Empire, the species known as humanity is ordered to submit, lower all planetary defenses, transfer sovereignty, deliver population registries and military schematics. Compliance will ensure preservation. Resistance will result in correction. The voice was calm, resonant, utterly certain. On Luna, in the black glass chamber of the United Earth Council, silence followed. Screens showed translated glyphs, the imperial sigil blazing like a sun with barbed rays. Advisors stared, generals leaned forward, diplomats whispered curses under their breath. At the center of the chamber, Secretary General Amara Kincaid did not move. She read the message again, slowly, carefully. Then she looked up. They didn't say negotiate, she said. They didn't say treaty. Admiral Jonah Reyes, commander of Earth's fleet, gave a humorless smile. They never do. The Aurelians were not unknown. Humanity had watched them from a distance for decades. A star-spanning empire of 100 subject species, each conquered with the same ritualized efficiency. Arrive, demand submission, burn one city from orbit, accept surrender. Every species complied. Every species but one. A junior aide swallowed. Madam Secretary, their fleet mass is extraordinary. We estimate 2,000 capital vessels, planet crackers among them. Reyes nodded. Against that, we have 300 warships, none classified as capital by their standards. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Amara folded her hands, then send a reply. The aide hesitated. Standard protocol suggests. Send, Amara repeated, her voice iron. The reply was simple, unadorned, translated into the imperial trade tongue and broadcast on every frequency. Earth does not bow. It took exactly 12 minutes for the Empire to respond. This time, the voice carried amusement. Clarification, submission is not optional. The Aurelian fleet arrived 3 days later. They did not emerge in a tight formation, they flooded into the system, hyperspace tearing open like wounds in reality, vast ships unfolded from nothingness, hulls gleaming like molten gold, spines bristling with weapons that bent light around them. At their center loomed the throne vessel Imperious Will, a construct so massive it cast shadows across entire orbital lanes. From the surface of Earth, they looked like falling stars, too many, too bright. Panic spread. Despite decades of preparation, civil defense sirens wailed. Cities went dark as grids shifted to hardened mode. Families huddled in shelters, staring at emergency feeds that showed impossible armadas blotting out the sky. In orbit, Earth's fleet maneuvered into position. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of the UES Resolute, hands clasped behind his back. Around him, officers worked with quiet focus. No speeches, no bravado. Just readiness. Empire fleet has halted at 1 light second, tactical reported. They're forming a ceremonial line. Reyes snorted softly. They want an audience. As if summoned by the thought, a transmission request flashed across every human channel. On screen, Reyes ordered. The image that appeared was beautiful. Tall, elongated beings with skin like polished bronze stood in a vaulted chamber of living light. Their eyes glowed faintly, pupils like burning embers. At their center stood an Aurelian high legate, robes flowing as if caught in a perpetual solar wind. Humans, the legate said, spreading his hands, you have been granted the honor of final address before correction. Kneel, and your species will endure as vassals. Defy us, and your world will be cleansed. Reyes stepped forward into frame. No, he said. A flicker of surprise crossed the legate's face, then disdain. You are a young species, the legate said. Your weapons are crude, your fleet's insignificant. You mistake defiance for strength. Reyes smiled. No, he said again, we mistake it for survival. He cut the feed. The Empire fired first. They always did. A beam of coherent stellar plasma lanced out from the Imperious Will, aimed not at Earth, but at the moon. A demonstration, a warning. The beam struck and bent. It curved, impossibly, sliding along an invisible barrier before dispersing harmlessly into space. Silence. On the Aurelian flagship, alarms chimed, soft, confused tones. What anomaly is this? The legate demanded. Sensors screamed as human ships moved. They did not charge, they did not form lines or display banners, they vanished. Every human vessel dropped off Aurelian sensors simultaneously, not through stealth fields or cloaking, those were known technologies, but through something else, something that simply removed them from the equations the Empire understood. Reacquire targets, an Aurelian officer cried. Then the first Imperial cruiser died. It did not explode, it collapsed, its hull folded inward as if crushed by an invisible fist, matter screaming as gravity spiked to impossible levels. In less than a second, a ship the size of a city became a sphere of incandescent debris. Then another. Then 10 more. Human ships reappeared inside the Imperial formation. Weapons fired that had no light, no sound, only effects. Sections of Aurelian vessels aged 1,000 years in an instant, metal corroding into dust. Others froze at near absolute zero, fracturing like glass. Some simply stopped existing, erased where they stood. The legate stared in horror. What are they using? He whispered. An analyst trembled. Unknown. Our physics models are failing. On Earth, in a bunker buried beneath kilometers of rock, Secretary General Kincaid watched the battle unfold. Begin Phase 2, she said. Across the system, something ancient awakened. Humanity had not spent its centuries alone among the stars in peace, it had prepared. Deep in the Oort cloud, engines ignited on objects long mistaken for dead worlds. Asteroids shed camouflage, revealing latticework cores and burning sigils. They aligned, not as ships, but as artillery. A network built over generations. The first shot turned space itself into a weapon. A pulse rippled outward, not through normal dimensions but along the underlying structure of reality. Aurelian ships caught in it shuddered as their internal power systems resonated catastrophically. Reactors went critical in cascading waves. The Imperial formation broke. For the first time in centuries, the Aurelian Star Empire felt fear. Legate, an officer shouted. Human vessels are broadcasting. The screen flared to life again, this time filled with images, not threats, not boasts, but records. Worlds burning, species kneeling, cities glassed from orbit. Aurelian conquests, catalogued and preserved. A human voice spoke over the footage. Calm, cold. We watched you, the voice said. We learned. We waited. The Imperius will try to jump. It failed. Space around it hardened, locked by fields that anchored it in place. Human ships converged, surrounding the throne vessel like predators around wounded prey. Reyes's face appeared on the main display. You demanded Earthbow, he said. You never asked who taught us not to. The legate straightened, pride flaring even now. You will doom yourselves, other empires. No, Reyes interrupted. They know. As if on cue, new signatures appeared on Aurelian sensors. Dozens, then hundreds. Fleets bearing unfamiliar designs, colors and hull shapes from 100 oppressed species. They emerged from hyperspace around the system. Weapons charged not at Earth, but at the Empire. Former vassals. Former slaves. Allies humanity had cultivated quietly, patiently, by offering something radical. A choice. The legate's voice faltered. This is rebellion. No, Reyes said. This is consequence. The combined fleets opened fire. The Imperius will burn. Its shields failed under the onslaught, layered defenses peeling away as weapons from 1,000 worlds struck home. The throne vessel cracked, great fissures of light tearing through its golden hull. Inside, the legate fell to his knees. This is impossible, he whispered. Reyes watched from the bridge as the Imperial flagship broke apart, fire blooming in the vacuum like a second sun. Nothing is impossible, he said quietly. You just never planned for us. When the battle ended, the Aurelian fleet was gone, destroyed, captured, or fleeing into the dark. Earth still stood. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy changed. Empires hesitated, councils listened. For the first time in recorded history, a power had faced the Aurelian Star Empire head-on and reduced it to ash. At a galactic assembly months later, a human diplomat stood before thousands of delegates. We do not seek conquest, she said. We do not demand you bow. But understand this, we will never kneel. And if fire is what it takes to protect that truth. She paused, letting the silence stretch. Then we have learned how to burn brighter than any empire. Far from Earth, On worlds that had once known only chains, people looked up at the stars and whispered a new word with hope instead of fear. Humanity.